you would correct us, you would help us pronounce your name properly. You would introduce yourself to us in a little while. We have him with us today, and he's running for governor there on the plateau, like they say in plateau. So, Dr. Samuel, over to you, sir. Who are you? Introduce yourself to us briefly, and we'll take it up from there.
Thank you very much, Jude. I'm very happy to be with you guys today, and thank you so much for everyone who is live with us today. I don't take this for granted for a second. This is the place to be right now. Okay, it's straightforward. My name is Samuel Sheep, and people as SDK. I am a development consultant, team passion practice. I'm also a security management expert, and I'm also a management consultant. I think I said that in the area. What I do today in Nigeria is basically helping organizations and companies and individuals find direction, what they're doing, say over here in Nigeria. Even though I happen to be just, I'm thinking just Nigeria, I live and work in Abuja. I am the DG for Quality Business Communication and Executive Educational Firm based in Abuja in just Nigeria. I'm also the CEO of Mind Plan Motivation Network, which is our consulting firm, where we consult for over 25 companies being abroad, including some oil and gas companies with an internal process, a free collaboration with NPC, and so forth and so forth. And I'm also the chief executive officer of 300 Security Limited. It's a private security company. We provide security for companies, ministries, individuals, corporate organizations, non-corporate organizations, industries, factories, across Nigeria, basically between Abuja and Just. And like we said earlier on, I happen to be running for the office of the government and the party for the general election is 2027. Even though INEC has not been lifted the ban of campaign in Nigeria yet, so I don't consider this the campaign platform. I consider this as an interview where we're within the wrong minds about leadership and democracy, what it is in Nigeria. And this is briefly about me. I'm married with 5 children, very lovely children. I'm married to an animal with a son and so thank you very much, Jim. I'm very happy. Thanks for having me here.
Thank you, sir. I don't know if it's my audio or your audio. Can you confirm if you can hear me clearly, loud and clear from your hand?
I can hear you loud and clear, Jim.
Okay,
Yes.
you seem a little bit far away from your audio. Maybe it's my phone. You could check your audio while we continue. But good to have you. Good to have you join us, and thanks for the introduction. So let's get started. We would begin with employment, youth and employment, youth and unemployment there on the plateau. What's your plan if elected governor in Plateau State to create jobs for the youth there on the plateau? What do you intend to do? What are the plans?
Plateau State is one of the richest states in Nigeria. I've always said that, if not the richest state in Nigeria. And the economic potentials of the plateau are too much, too numerous to mention. But just to mention a few, Plateau State has about 9 local governments that cultivate Irish potato and commercial quantity. And today, when we look at the Irish potato, where you see Irish potato in Nigeria, which has been cultivated in the plateau, and we move it to every part of Nigeria, including all parts of West Africa. And the problem with the cultivation of Irish potato in the plateau is the fact that more than 95% of it is eaten raw. It's taken out of plateau raw, and that simply means that no value is added to it. And if you understand the economic potential with the value chain of employment of Irish potato, then you get to begin to realize that if we begin to add value to potato alone, the value chain of employment is very vast. When we look at the value chain of employment from the farm, the cultivation, and then from the harvest, and then moving into the factory, and then hiring people to the factory, to work in the factory. And then when the product is ready, you move this product out of the factory You have another set of young people that we employ to take this product, to sell and to market this product to end users. I'm talking about the value chain of employment of Irish potato alone. If Plateau State government looks at the addition of value to potato, you can make chips from potato, you can make crumbles from potato, you can make flour from potato, you can extract starch from potato. All these are economic and industrial potential from Irish potato alone that has not been explored by any government yet. Otherwise, we need to factories and industries that haven't been adopted. This is just one area where we've elected to the government and the party. We will be able to create a lot of jobs here. So basically, if you're not, I'm not audible. I can hear you loud. So,
Yeah, we can hear you, but it's not audible enough. It's a bit faint.
Okay, just give me a minute.
Okay.
Check.
Yes. So while we wait for Dr. Samuel to join back in, we can just talk more about the state of Plateau, the situations of things there on the Plateau, the political climate, and what's going on in the Plateau. So Plateau State happens to be a state in the north central part of Nigeria. It is one of those pretty remarkable states when it comes to religion. It's predominantly Christian. Majority of the population is Christians. A very few minorities, they are Muslims. It's a state that has never, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a state that always elects a governor who is a Christian. Um, it's it's a bit of an uphill battle for an individual who is not a Christian to aspire for that seat in a state as Plateau, and it's located somewhere in the north. So that's one of few states whereby you find a particular religion dominating such office. But then when you go deep north, states such as Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, the same thing, you see the same thing replicated there as well, whereby majority of the population there are Muslims, and you hardly find a Christian win or become the governor of such states. It's quite remarkable. Nigeria is going through a lot. The democracy is not there yet. They have a lot of things to learn. With time, they will get there. We are longing for a Nigeria whereby anyone can aspire for any office, irrespective of your tribe, irrespective of your religion, irrespective of your upbringing, your social status. We long for such. We long for a situation in Nigeria whereby we would find a Muslim fellow who is the governor of Plateau State, and we'll find a Christian fellow who is the governor of Katsina State. We long for that. At the same time, we long for a situation whereby we'll find someone who is of the Yoruba tribe elected governor in a southeastern state, and someone who's from the Igbo tribe elected governor in a deep north such as Zamfara. That's the kind of Nigeria many of us are yearning and longing for. So hopefully we'll get there. And that's why we're here at JFU Strategy. We're trying to change the narrative down there in Nigeria. Mr. Samuel, confirm if you can hear us. Okay, yeah, I'll continue. Plateau States, some more about Plateau States.
With Jude, I can hear you, but the network is very bad.
Okay, now I can hear you.
The weather is dense.
Okay.
It's been raining here, so the network is very bad.
Awesome. It's better
Can you
now.
hear me?
The audio is perfect right now. We just cannot see you anymore.
Can you see me now?
Not yet.
Yes.
I guess it's the Plateau State weather.
The weather is cold. The cloud is thick. It's one of the things we benefit here. Actually, it's one of the finest things about Plateau. We have a very good weather here, and it's been low. The clouds have come very low because the rains are very high right now. Yes. So can you hear me now? Can you see me now? I have to keep changing location.
We just got a confirmation from our media team that it's perfect. Your audio is perfect and rock solid, good to go. While you were away, I was speaking more about Plateau State, and now it's one of those states that predominantly of a Christian religion. Majority of the populations there are Christians, and there are few Muslims there. And we're talking about how we long for a time in the history of Nigeria, how that will find a Christian fellow elected in deep Katsina, deep Sokoto as governor. And hopefully down the road, we'll find a Muslim fellow who is elected into that office of the governor in a state such as Plateau. And, as well as, when the issue of tribalism, when we come to Nigeria, as well as find someone who is of a Yoruba tribe elected into a Southeastern state, and someone who is of a Southeastern tribe elected into a place such as Sokoto or Zamfara. We long for such a Nigeria. It will come. So back to you, Dr. Samuel. You just aspired. Go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead. I just want to make comment about what you said about the diversity of this nation. A lot of people think our diversity is our weakness. Nigeria has over 350 to 500 ethnic groupings, in Nigeria, and of course, politicians in this country have leveraged negatively, on that differences. But when you look at countries like India, much more other ethnic tribes, India has more tribes than we have, in Nigeria. There are other countries in Africa with even more than 500 ethnic groupings. These guys are united. These guys are looking at governance and development. And I like this pattern of thinking that you came up with. I look forward to also, Jude, one day in Nigeria, that an Igbo man can vie for an election in Kano State and become a governor. His name does not matter. What matters is his perspective of development. What matters should be his patriotic state of mind. The reason why we're having this deeply entrenched ethnic, religious, and tribal, differences in Nigeria that has stopped us from developing is because we've always asked the wrong questions. And the truth of the matter is, in development, in politics, in education, in whatever field you find yourself, if you ask the wrong question, you're going to definitely get the wrong answer. For example, Jude, what is wrong in asking, do you have capacity? What values innovation are you bringing to the table? What value proposition are you bringing to the table? Instead of asking, where are you from? What tribe are you? Where's your father from? Where's your mother from? These are the wrongest questions we ask. Unfortunately, this mentality and question has entrenched into our public system, where Nigeria is being bedeviled by what they call a quota system. A quota system is simply a system of employment that gives, quotas to different parts of the country. So if your quota is filled, it doesn't matter whether you're qualified or not, you're not going to get the job. And as a matter of fact, if you're from the same state with somebody and they're supposed to take like 20 people for a particular job, and your own local government is filled, no matter how qualified you are, even if you're from the same state, because your quota is filled, you're not going to get the job. So we've always asked the wrong answers, the wrong questions. And because we've always asked the wrong questions, we're giving ourselves the wrong answers. Credibility, pragmatism, integrity, meritocracy should be the pillars that should hold our society. That's my take on that on that perspective, Jude. And I really, really like that. I look forward to a Nigeria where your name does not matter, where you come from is not a question,
but what you can bring to the table, what you have, should be the question. This is one of the reasons why America is great today. America doesn't ask, where's he from? Is he an American? Yes, it's enough to be an American. And it's much more than enough to be an American and come with something to the table to offer. In Nigeria, the reverse is the case. In Nigeria, it's much more than enough to be a Muslim. It's much more than enough to be a Christian. It's even much more than enough to be from a particular tribe, whether you're qualified or not. Your quota has to be filled. These are things, these are wrong systems and foundations that need to be addressed properly for us to have a country that will work for all. Looking at Plateau, basically, like I was saying earlier before the network really break, Plateau is actually the richest state in Nigeria. And let me tell you, look, this can be verified, Jude. The wealth on the Plateau built the entire Liverpool, right? The wealth on the Plateau before, during the colonial days, built the capital, Lagos, before when the colonial masters came in the late 18th century and discovered tin and columbite on the Plateau. The people from Edo State escorted them to the Plateau. They followed the waterways and followed the mines leakages and brought them to a place called Babali. That's where the first mining on the Plateau took place. Today, Plateau is more or less, if you want to call it, a cosmopolitan city, right? Because if any tribe you don't find on the Plateau does not exist in Nigeria. That's the point. So I want to see a Plateau that works for all. I want to see a Plateau that accommodates all. I want to see a Plateau that is inclusive. I want to see a Plateau that gives a space on the table for the remotest part, the most marginalized, a person in wherever on the Plateau. I want to see a Plateau that creates a space on the table of decision for whoever and where, no matter wherever you're coming from, for decisions to be taken that will move Plateau forward. That kind of Plateau is what we are looking forward to, Jude. I don't know if I'm making any sense here.
You sure are. And that kind of Plateau is surely very much possible. Speaking on the wrong questions, for every wrong question, there's a right way to ask such a question.
I agree with you.
You and I just, literally agreed together that it is wrong to ask an individual, a Nigerian, why he or she is running for a particular office simply because of his or her first or last name, based on where they come from, where their parents come from. That's a given.
Yeah.
Another wrong question that we see out there is the question of, why are you running for the governor? Why don't you start from the House of Assembly? Why don't you start from the Senate? Why don't you start from council, your local government? That's another wrong question. I think the right question to that should be, you're running for governor. That's awesome. Why governor? What do you want to do for us as governor? So we're going to ask you that same question, sir. You're running for governor of the people on the Plateau. What do you intend to accomplish as governor that the present governor, Governor Caleb, will not be able to accomplish in the next 4 years? Why didn't you allow him continue and finish up his other second term? Why are you trying to run for the seat?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Jude, for this question. Very interesting. Let me go back to that wrong question again. And I'm quite happy that you agree is actually the wrong question to ask. Why the office of the governor? Why not Senate? Why not House of Representatives? People are wired differently, right? In the human psychology of behavior, there are about 4 to 5 temperaments. You've got and they are categorically divided into two. You've got the extroverts and then you've got the introverts. From the extroverted side, you've got the choleric and the sanguine. And then from the introverted side, you've got the melancholy and the phlegmatic. History has furnished us with enough information to say that great empires, great leadership, great transformational leaders were mostly cholerics. They come from this temperament that is on the extroverted side. I'm a choleric by temperament. Besides that, Jude, I am coming from the private sector, okay? So why am I not running for the House of Representatives? My capacity, my understanding, my experience is much more than that. What I am leading with in my heart, the burden of transformation for the people of Plateau is far beyond the local government chairman, the House of Representative member, or the Senate member. The legislative arm of government is meant for people who have a long, and I'm not going to speak this in different language, to be very honest, I will say it as blatant as it is. If you want to run for legislative office anywhere in the world, you have to be patient enough to listen to very stupid and backward arguments that do not make sense. And the least that can happen is for you to say no, is to vote no for it and get out of that place. But you see, for people who have the will, the willpower, the expertise, the knowledge, the wherewithal to be transformational in their dealings, the legislative house is not for them. For me, I am a transformational leader. I have done much more in the private sector. For example, Jude, by the grace of God, we have created over 80 employment jobs for young people, in Abuja, and we're creating more. I've been able to, through the years, set up factories and industries that have created jobs for quite a number of people. Now, you need executive power to transform a state, especially when it comes to Nigeria. You need executive power. Take, for instance, Trump. What do you think Trump would do with his makeup, with his body language and psychology? What do you think he would do in the Senate? What do you think he would do in the House of Commons or House of Representatives? So you see, executive powers are meant for people who understand the problems, the dynamics of power, the problem of the people, the vision they have for the people, and how they want to take how they want to lead those people to those destinations. So in one word, I am wired for executive power. I am wired for executive power. Coming from the private sector, there's a lot to do on the plateau. Now, coming to the second question, why not allow the governor to finish his term before going? No. We can't wait for our rottenness to go further than where she is, right? There are negative indication, indices about the development of Plateau. I'll give you one. This is for free. Plateau State has been, in the last 30 years, one of the poorest 7 states in Nigeria. No governor has been able to take us out of that indices. Why? It simply means they don't know what to do about this. I'll give you another example. Every day in the last 1 month or 2 months, there has always been killing on the plateau. As a matter of fact, the insecurity challenge on the plateau spans over 2 decades right now. Right from the 2001 crisis that happened on the 7th of September of 2001, crises have never stopped. Killings of innocent people on the plateau has not stopped. And let me tell you, sir, the criminals anywhere in the world, criminals lead the body language of the leader. What has happened on the plateau is simply the fact that Plateau has not been lucky enough to have a radical leader that will address the issue of insecurity once and for all. And I'm going to say this for free, on this platform. The aggressor understands one language. The aggressor needs a leader that will be aggressive against him. Chapter 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is titled The Fundamental Human Right. And I tell you, sir, the Fundamental Human Rights section does not permit anybody to take a life in this country. What we have had in Nigeria is weak men occupying the position of power. I repeat, weak men occupying the position of power. Those weak men are not able to exercise to enforce the law, right? To go after the criminals, arrest them, and execute justice. They've not been able to do that. So if there's any reason why I'm running for the office of the governor today, it's because I know I'm radical enough to address insecurity. I'm radical enough to take very tough, difficult decisions that people may not be happy with, but at the end of the day, it will bring about development for the people of Plateau State. I think this answers that question. I don't know,
Yeah.
Jude.
It does. And I'm very thankful you brought us right into security. And you also kind of brought us into that of President Trump as well, how that is advocating for Christians in Nigeria, more particularly the Christians that are being killed in many states, including that of Plateau. You were running for governor. What practical steps do you intend to take to tackle security and bring this lasting peace for the people of the Plateau?
There's just one problem with tackling security in Nigeria, but let's narrow it down to the Plateau. Jude, you don't want to know how much intelligence report comes to the governor's table. There's only one problem. There's only one problem. There are vested interests. So let me educate you a little bit about why the insecurity on the plateau. Like I said earlier, that's why I started with the fact that the wealth on the plateau built countries, cities like Liverpool, in the UK many, many years ago. Today, you have tin and columbite on the plateau. They have very, very powerful industrial uses. You have lithium on the plateau. You have copper on the plateau. You've got gold on the plateau. There are over between 40 and 50 commercial solid minerals on the plateau. And these criminals and bandits that are killing our people on the plateau today look out for such rich sites. So they go in there, kill the people, create fear, and through terrorism, and move those people away. The moment this happens, they get over to those places and begin to mine. This is what I'm saying. There are intelligence report that comes to the table of the governor or the president. It takes willpower to execute, Jude. I'm not going to tell you security matters are very sensitive matters. I may not tell you ABC of what I'm going to do, but it's enough for you to know that I'm going to take very difficult decisions, very radical steps in making sure that intelligence reports are properly executed to abate or completely stop the killings of innocent people on the plateau. So one thing is lacking: the willpower, the radical mindset of that leader to bring about transformation in the security lives of people and on the plateau and Nigeria. That's just what's lacking here.
Thank you. Your political party, the APM, help us understand something. In the current House of Assembly there on the plateau, how many APM members do we have in the House? None at the moment? Because I know APM...
None at the moment.
APM...
None at the moment, yeah.
APM, none at the moment, right? In the House of Assembly, House of Rep, and Senate. None at the moment. Correct? Can you hear me, Dr. Samuel?
Can you say that again, please? I'm finding it very difficult to hear you. You're breaking a little bit.
Your political party, you're running under the platform of the APM. We want to understand the choice of your political party, knowing fully well that there are no members represented in the House of Assembly there on the plateau. There are no members represented in the House of Assembly, in the federal representative, and as well as the Senate. The three senators there on the plateau, none of them is of the APM political party. And you are running for the highest office in the state of Plateau under a political party that's relatively unknown. How do you intend to defeat other major parties, including that of the NDC, ADC, PDP, depending on the faction, and as well as the APC? I guess we're having a Plateau State weather today. We'll wait around a little while for him to join back in. And while we wait, for those who are just tuning in, who will probably, a vast majority are actually aware as to the situations going on in the state of the Plateau, how that the governor who is of the APC, who used to be of the PDP, resigned from the PDP political party and moved to the APC and is seeking for a second term. And now that even before his resignation to the APC, there were struggles and there were struggles. There were people pushing back to prevent him from decamping to the APC. It was a success. He was able to decamp to the APC, and now he's running for governor under the APC. And we have numerous strong, formidable people running for governor there on the plateau. We have the likes of General Surah. We have the likes of Yishi Bida. We have the likes of, we have several prominent people running for governor there on the plateau. And now we also have the like of Dr. Samuel as well, who is also aspiring for that seat. We're trying to understand the choice of his political party. Dr. Samuel, welcome back. You were running, you're muted. you're running under the political party of APM. That's a relatively unknown political party in the history of Nigeria. As far as we're concerned, as far as we know, we do know that the governor of Osun State, what's his name? What's the governor of Osun State's name again? Went blank.
Seyi Makinde. His Excellency Seyi.
Yeah, His Excellency Seyi Makinde is running for president of Nigeria. So you'll be running under the same ticket as he is for Governor D on the Plateau. And you seem to be very confident that you could pull a victory against all the political parties, taking into consideration that there are no members of the APM represented in the House of Assembly, House of Representatives, and the Senate. So tell us, how do you intend to make it happen, having no member represented in your political party? Is there
Jude, okay, the network is still very bad here. Well, yeah, but if I hear you very well, you're trying to talk about the party, right? And how grounded are we, on the plateau? Just to set the record straight, apart from PDP and the APC on the plateau, every other party is relatively new. That's the truth about it. You talk about the ADC, the NDC, and the APM, and some other smaller parties like the YPP that have, all of those parties have candidates on the plateau. You see, a plateau's elections or politics is a very sensitive one. Plateau people are very, very enlightened people when it comes to democracy and choosing their candidates. Plateau people will not choose a candidate based on party. Plateau people will choose candidate. They will go to the poll based on the candidate, what he has for the people. And today, as we speak, Jude, there are the Allied People's Movement, the APM, which is our party, is currently standing and sitting as the largest opposition party in Nigeria. We've got 2 sitting governors. We've got over about 8 House of Representatives. We have like 2 senators, and then and more are going to come. The ADC has been riddled with a lot of litigations, legal issues here and there. 4 days ago, one federal court came up and nullified the David Marks-led team and all the congresses they had, in the past. The NDC, like 2-3 weeks ago, was deregistered by a federal high court, in Lokoja. They are still at court trying to address, that issue. Whether or not the ruling party is part of it, that's not a question here. And you have the PDP also on the plateau that also has legal matters also at the national level. So you've got, party with several factions. The PDP on the plateau has 2 factions. The ADC on the plateau has 3 factions, 3 party chairmen. The NDC. So APM at the same time sits as the only party on the plateau without any legal matter, without any faction. We have 1 party chairman, we have 1 state coordinator, we have 24 candidates who are representing 24 constituents in the House of Assembly. We have 8 House of Representative candidates who have been uploaded, who will go for election. By next week, we're going to be having the governorship and the House of Assembly members who will be uploaded on the INEC, portal. So whether or not the party is new, whether or not the party is known on the plateau, that's not the question. The question is the men and women who are occupying, who are representing their people in the 36 constituencies who are going to be running for election. Those are the people that Plateau people will have to make up their mind to vote on any other platform. So we are not new, we're not new. And then just for your information again, Jude, PDP nationally has no governor anywhere. ADC has no governor anywhere. NDC has no governor anywhere. I just want to reiterate the fact that it is only the APM right now as an opposition party that has 2 governors sitting currently in Nigeria who are ready. And then Sheyi Makinde, the governor of Oyo State, His Excellency, happens to be running for, he's our presidential candidate, and he'll be running for the office of the president come 2027. So we are ready for this election by the grace of God. And like I said, we're not campaigning, we are just consulting. We are setting the pace straight. We want to look at the dynamics of democracy, the dynamics of leadership, and what we need to do to make sure that our people are ready for this forthcoming general election.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I do agree with you on that. Plateau is a quite unique state. It's one of those states that the people actually vote for the person as opposed to the political party, which is very remarkable. We're looking for more like that. I think there's a senator who was elected on the Plateau North Central District, Senator Pam, who was from the ADP political party. Correct me if I'm wrong. He got elected into Senate, and he's not even from the PDP, from any of the major political parties. But no, though he has actually decamped to the APC, but I think he won his court case, and he came under the platform of the ADP. And there are numerous other elected officials in the state of Plateau who have actually gotten elected under very minor, little political parties, which is quite remarkable, very remarkable. All right. Can you still hear me, Dr. Samuel? I see you're frozen. Can you confirm that you're still with us? Okay, while we wait for Dr. Samuel. Are you back? Can you hear us now, Dr. Samuel?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but I can't see you.
You cannot
see
me.
I can see you now.
Okay, awesome. All right. Did you hear what I said earlier on?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I was just agreeing to you that indeed Plateau State is one of such states where the people vote for the person as opposed to the political party. We've seen the likes of Senator Pam, who was elected, who came into the Senate, the 10th Assembly, as a senator under the ADP political party, right? That's remarkable. So it's possible, and I think Plateau State once had a speaker of the YPP, or is still the speaker of the YPP, or he decamped already. But there were other minor political parties, who have produced candidates on the plateau over there. Oh, Dr. Samuel's network is really acting up, but we'll continue with the issue of on the plateau for him to join us. We'll just hang in there for a little while. Welcome back, Dr. Samuel. Can you hear me now? And can you see me as well? Okay. Wow. Sorry about your network. We apologize. Dr. Samuel, can you confirm you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. We want to thank you for running for governor on the plateau. And all we can do is wish you the very best as you continue in your race for this seat. We want you to address the people of the plateau.
Thank you very much.
Who are watching you. And we want you to speak to them as to why they should consider voting for you, if at all, why you are the best fit for the job as opposed to other contenders in the race. We want you to address them briefly.
Okay, if I can hear you very well, you're talking about why Plateau people need change. The people of Plateau need change. The people of Plateau are tired of being killed. The people of Plateau are already tired of being poor for over 30 years. Plateau people, everything about Plateau right now is calling for change. When you drive around the streets of Plateau, when you interact with people from the rural communities, I've been having consultations with people, and the one thing remains very common: the call for change, the call for a new leadership, the call for someone who can protect them from the guns of the bandits, of the Fulani head men, wherever they find themselves on the plateau. So there's no debate about the fact that Plateau people won't change. And as a matter of fact, this is why the election cycle comes in after 4 years. After 4 years, the government gives people the opportunity to say, if you're not satisfied with this person for the first 4 years, you can choose another person to replace him. And that's why we're running for this election. So I'm not going to go, Jude, permit me, I'm not really going to go into deep campaigns on this platform, but I just want to say that if you look at the indices around Plateau State, everything is calling for change. And by the grace of God, come 2027, there is going to be a new government on the Plateau. The APM will establish a new government on the Plateau, and Plateau people will experience the change they've been yearning for in the last 26 years.
Let's talk more about the incoming APM government on the Plateau. How would you work with the House of Assembly?
Okay.
Unless, of course, if you're for the opinion that the APM political party would sweep the entire House of Assembly.
We're going to sweep it. We will sweep it. We're going to sweep. We will sweep those positions, right? There's nothing like. You see, the thing right now. So I just finished telling you that everything on the Plateau, from the way people walk, from you look at the way they even build their houses, you look at their location. For the first time in the history of mankind, people will tell you, look, that there are more people in the urban centers right now than there are in the rural areas. That's because the villages are no longer safe. Okay, so when we talk about this change, the change is not going to come from the governorship position alone. It will come from the senatorial seat, the House of Representatives, down to the councilor. The APM will sweep this election, and there will be a new government. I'm not just being political here. I'm not just being just talking optimism here. I'm talking grassroots development. I'm talking grassroots interactions, consultations, engagements. And so we know what the people want. They are ready for change, and that change will come.
Wow, I love that. Politicians are really great men and women of faith. They all believe they would win. That's awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear. So,
Okay.
for the election of the state on the Plateau, APM is going to sweep the gubernatorial race, sweep the 3 senatorial seats, sweep the entire House of Reps, and as well of all the House of Assembly. All will be taken all to APM. Wow, we can't wait to see that happen. We're excited about it. Yes. I asked you a question earlier. I don't think you were able to hear me correctly. And the question I asked was, for the viewers, for those who are watching you who are from the Plateau, and who will be wondering as to why they should vote for you and your political party, we want you to speak and address this set of individuals as to why they should consider voting for you and your political party. For those who do not know you, who are just getting to see you or meet you for the very first time, what do you have to say to them?
It's very simple. If you're not tired of what you're seeing on the Plateau, bring them back. Bring them back. I want to see change on the Plateau. I want my people to be freed completely from this insecurity, from poverty. And like I said earlier on, Jude, for over 30 years, we've been on this statistic. We've been on this negative indices. Poorest state, one of the poorest states. Nobody has taken us out of this thing. So you see, the decision is for the people, okay? If they're not tired of poverty, they can bring in anybody they want to bring. And they can bring this government back and they continue in that state of mind. That's fine, that's okay. But you see, like I've told you earlier on, we have been engaging, we have been consulting, and I'm telling you, people are tired. People are tired, and they're going to bring that change. It is not me that will bring the change. It is not APM as a party that will bring the change. It is the people themselves who have been chained. They will break the shackles of this poverty, of this insecurity themselves with their votes. They will break these shackles with their votes on election day. And how will they do it? Vote a different person. Albert Einstein said, it is insanity to continually do the same thing and expecting a different result. I mean, we've got people who were speakers in between 2000 and 2007. They are still in government. We've got people who were House of Representatives between 2007 and 2015. They are still in government. We have a recycled leadership, not just on the plateau, but in Nigeria. And that's why nothing has changed yet. So the electorate should think twice. Do we want to continue in this cycle? And if we don't want to continue in this cycle, what do we do to get out of this cycle? So one question we must ask is, who are these people who have kept us here? We must ask this question. And if we don't want to continue in this cycle, if we want to leave this place, then we must bring in a different set of leadership, different set of people to move us out of this place. This is just the simple statistics. I mean, it's common sense, even though common sense is not as common as we talk about it. But it's common sense to know that if I want to move out of this place, I must check the person who brought me here, and I must change that leadership. That's what I'm talking about, Jude.
Thank you. Thank you. When we started this conversation, we both agreed and established that we long for in Nigeria, whereby a Muslim in a predominantly Christian state can get elected into the highest office in that state. Example, Plateau State.
I lost you again. You again. I can't hear you again.
Can you hear me now?
I lost you again.
Can you hear me? Can you see me as well? Confirm if you can hear me, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When we started this conversation, we both agreed for a kind of Nigeria whereby a fellow Muslim who is a Nigerian, can get elected into the highest office ever in a predominantly Christian state.
Yeah.
A fellow Christian can get elected into the highest office in a predominantly Muslim state. A great example, Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara. So Plateau State, one of the many beautiful things about Plateau State is the ethnic diversity. It's still diverse in a way, right? And there's all this religious tensions of people feeling as though their own set of individuals, brothers and sisters, have not been represented in several different offices. As governor, how do you intend to lead all these different groups of individuals, ensuring that everyone is feeling represented in your administration?
Yeah, thank you very much, Jude, for that question. It's one word. I'm going to run an all-inclusive government. Inclusivity or inclusiveness to me means, in one sentence, having the weakest of all represented on the table of decision, bringing the people from the remotest part of Plateau to the table of this, decision, bringing people of different religion, Christians, Muslims, the irreligious people, the pagans, whatever you call them. So long as they are living on the plateau, they pay their tax on the plateau, they love plateau, they are not happy with the killings on the plateau, and they can take a bullet for the plateau. These people they're all stakeholders. Bring them to the table of decision and take a decision for the people of Plateau. Our Plateau, like I said earlier on, Plateau has every tribe you can think of, in Nigeria. Whatever tribe you cannot see on the Plateau does not exist. I said that earlier when we said, so we need a leader that is inclusive in his thinking, that is inclusive in his planning and design, a leader that is inclusive in his execution of plans and design. That kind of leader will carry everyone along. And let me tell you, to be very honest with you, it doesn't really matter whether certain people get an appointment or not. What matters is the majority of the people on the plateau, those who are voiceless, those who are weak, are they properly represented? I can give you 101 examples to that. Take for instance, if you say the Igbos are not properly represented in the government of Plateau, and right now they have a senior special advisor to the governor on Igbo matters, the question I've always asked is his appointment solving the problems of water? Is the appointment of an Igbo man solving the problem of insecurity in the Igbo community? Is the appointment of the Igbo man paying the hospital bills of those Igbo people who are sick? The answers to all those questions are no. So the issue is not appointment. The issue is having a government who understand the dynamics of the issues that we're going through, not just on the plateau, but in Nigeria, and addressing those issues. When those issues are properly addressed, I'm telling you the truth, nobody's going to make any noise. Do you understand? That's the truth about it. So the reason why we're having all these matters being raised, people being marginalized. As a matter of fact, I mean, if you take it up, scale it up to Nigeria, the question of secession, the question of Biafra, the question of the North going or the South going, or the question of the Yoruba nation, they are all a deeper question of proper representation. Okay. And when you talk about representation, you are talking about the needs of the people being met. I'll give an example. If you solve the problem of the ordinary poor man, the day the poor man will stay for hundreds of years without, struggling to go to his farm, he will not ask you any question. The day the poor man will not find problem in going to the hospital and he's able to afford the bills, or the government has created a free health care system. You are in America, you know how the health care system, runs there, the public health, the private health, system in the UK. And then all those places have health systems that, that are working. Your doctor will look for you when you're supposed to be on appointment and you don't go. Here, you go to a hospital where common syringe, you cannot find, in the hospital. What's going on, right? Women are not supposed to die in labor. The medical experts would tell you that childbearing is a normal phenomenon, is a normal thing. No woman is supposed to die because she is about to give birth. But I tell you the truth, Nigeria has one of the highest infant mortality rate. We have also one of the highest, maternal mortality rate. What's the problem? Our primary health cares are broken. The system is broken, is broken. Nigeria has over 80 million not gainfully employed youths with a population of over 240 million people. My brother, get industries in this country. A lot of these young people calling themselves bandits, they would drop the guns and go to factories and work. There's unemployment everywhere. We're attacking the symptoms, of the root cause of our problems. If a man manifest the symptoms of malaria, you don't address the symptoms, the fever. No, that's what behind the fever. There's a malaria parasite that needs to be weakened or killed completely. You go down to that issue and address it. So when we go and address the root causes of all this shout, hula baloo everywhere about being marginalized, not properly represented, I'm telling you the place is going to be quiet. I told the sitting senator, I said, if in your constituency, if the primary health care is working, if the educational system is working, if the farmers can go to the farm without being attacked, without a fear of getting attacked or killed, nobody will know that you are at home by weekends. Nobody will come to your house. And this is why in the UK, because the systems are working, a senator will be in a bus and nobody even knows him. A House of Representatives will be in a train with every other citizen. And very few people will know who they are because they are fighting. I mean, dude, this is 2026. Some of the issues we're talking about here in Nigeria, they've been solved over 70 years ago in Europe. Over 70 years ago, these problems have been solved, and we're here talking about the same issues. So I want to answer that question by simply saying that when the root causes are properly addressed and killed at the root, nobody will talk about these other things. That's the truth.
Thank you. This is 2-in-1 questions we would love for you to really address. The first is, we'll start from the last, what you just ended with.
Okay.
You speak so passionately about the people of the plateau, how you want to change a lot of things. Many who have come before you did exactly what you did and fell short of the expectations of the people on the plateau. Why should they trust you? The second phase to this question is, you spoke about, this creating jobs, all those things, which is beautiful. If you were to get elected as governor of Plateau State, what are some few things that you would immediately do that would make life easy for the people of Plateau, such that that alone might take them out there and they would say to themselves, I am going out there to vote for Dr. Samuel, because once he's elected, he has said he will do X, Y, Z. What are those few things that you will get accomplished? I don't want us to get into the word of what you want to accomplish in your first 100 days of office. No. What are those few things that you have in mind that you want to accomplish for the people of Plateau, that once you do them, their life will be way better off than what it is right now?
Oh, okay. First of all, let me disagree with you that my predecessors did exactly what I'm doing or said exactly what I'm saying or are passionate about. There's when you talk about passion, Mike Murdoch said the proof of desire is pursued. The proof of desire is pursued. Jude, I don't know any governor who became a governor on the Plateau from 1999 and who is currently running right now that is coming with not just my credentials, with my antecedents. If not for anything, I'm coming with a history of having employed over 80 people. I pay salaries of over 80 people every month. Okay. I'm an employer of labor. It's not just by words. I have never held any political position in Nigeria before. I'm coming from the private sector. There are 3 pillars that keeps a society functioning properly. And these pillars are the public sector, the private sector, and the CSO sector. The reason why Nigeria's governance and government have not been functioning properly is because this triple alliance has not been properly aligned by leaders of states, leaders of local governments, leaders at the public sector. Like I said, in my disagreement with the fact that people, your governors who have come before me probably spoke with this passion. No, I really don't think, they did. So the point I'm trying to say is very simple. If you're coming with this passion, with this energy, you're gonna do exactly what you said you're gonna do. In Nigeria, more than 95% of politicians are there because of the money. It's a money venture. Right? They borrow money to run for election. When they run for election and win, they return the money. I can tell you for free about a politician in one of the local governments on the Plateau who was running for the House of Representatives, and his constituency people told him, "You must pay us before we work for you. Give us money." And he went to the bank. He has a collateral. He collected a loan of over 70 million naira. He brought the money, he shared it to the people, and he won the election. For 2 months after winning the election, after being inaugurated, he didn't come back to his constituency. On the 3rd month, he returned, and everybody was at his house. People who have a problem of 100,000, 50,000, health issues, fertilizer issues, all gathered in his place. And he came out to address them. He said, "Remember when I came to you, you said you would not work with me until I pay you. I went to the bank and I borrowed money and I brought the money to you, shared it among you guys, and you voted for me. What I'm doing right now is paying that loan. None of you is going to get a dime from me until I finish paying that loan." And I'm not telling you stories. I'm telling you of what happened. I had the privilege of meeting this politician, one-on-one. And that's exactly what he did. So I am simply saying that there are few politicians who are coming with passion. Money only reveals who people are. Positions of power do not change people. Position of power expose who people really are. There's no amount of money that's going to change me. There's no amount of money that's going to change me. There's no position on earth that's going to change me from being the passionate person that I am, from being the energetic person that I am, from creating more jobs. I'm already creating jobs in the private sector. It simply tells you that if I have the opportunity to be the governor, I'll create more jobs. So go back and do your research. How many of these guys came with this CV of having 80 plus people employed on their payroll before they became governors, in their state? So coming back to the final question, what exactly am I going to do? In the first few days, in office, Jude, the number one thing to address from my inaugural speech on the Plateau is security. From my inaugural speech, I'm going to declare war against insecurity. I'm going to declare war against people, killers, marauders, anyone who has been killing our people on the plateau. From my inaugural speech, not until I resume office, I will declare war. Is either you stop the killing, or you kill all of us, or we kill you. It's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You have no right to take a life anywhere on earth. You have not created life, so you can't take a life. You can't go to a village and meet innocent people and kill them and get away. I will not, as governor, come to the public, come to the press and say, I strongly condemn. No, that's nonsense. I'm not going to do that. We will go after those people who are killing our people. We will find them. So and like I told you before, that there are certain things you cannot talk about in the public when it comes to security, matters. So let's leave it there. But I said, while insecurity is continuing in Nigeria today and on the plateau, is because of two major things. Number one, vested interest. Number two, the weakness of the leaders in the position of power to confront the rotten status quo that is organizing this crime. We will get to the bottom and we will stop it by the grace of God.
Awesome. It's getting dark where you are. So we'll ask you one more question and you talk together and we'll bring it to a close. We appreciate your time with us, sir. On state police, we want you to address that real quick, and then you speak to us, speak to the people out there, your voters, the supporters, and all those who are from the plateau. Address us, and we'll bring the meeting to a close. So what's your take on state police? Because you just made mention of you're going to fight insecurity from day one. I guess you use the
state police is a welcome. The state police is a welcome development, Jude, and we on the plateau will love it. We love that idea. There are already apparatus, there are already structures and systems that the state policing will leverage on, in Plateau State. For example, you talk about the Operation Rainbow that was established by law. That's already an existing structure for the state policing, on the plateau. I'm not going to talk much, about that, but I'm just trying to paint a very good picture. There's a structure of the Operation Rainbow that was established by law on the plateau solely for intelligence gathering. They work hand in hand with law enforcement. They gather intelligence, they give it to the law enforcement for proper execution. So that's a structure for state policing already, on the plateau. There are other structures that that we will use when we come into government, bringing stakeholders to the table in collaboration with the law enforcement to make sure that we establish almost an independent, system for state policing that will act in the interest of the people, not in the interest of the governor or certain individuals.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We want to commend you. Thank you for running for office. Thank you for throwing your name out there, throwing your hat in the ring. Thank you for your love for the people of the plateau. It's not an easy thing, and we wish you the very best. We want you to address everyone who are tuning in, who are watching you live. What do you have to say to us? And then we'll bring the meeting to a close.
Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time with us. Thank you, Jude, for creating this opportunity for us to talk to. I just want to tell you, this is probably the first online interview that I've heard. That of course that came my way. We have turned down several media interviews because we're not ready to talk about the general election coming up for 2027. But right now, this is probably a startup for us. So we'll begin to talk to other people. We'll begin to engage properly and make sure we do not cross our boundary. And until INEC lifts up the ban of campaign, then we can go with our full force to talk about other sensitive matters that we've not been able to talk about here. So I want to say thank you so much. Thank you for the technical guys. Thank you for you guys over there in the US. May God bless your work richly. And I hope to see you guys on our inaugural day come 29th of May in 2027 when SDK will be sworn in as the governor of Plateau State. I hope to see you guys there. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in.
Thank you.
We just spoke to the next incoming governor on the plateau, right?
Yeah,
right.
Correct.
We're honored to have you on board, and we wish you the very best. All the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye. Yeah.